Welcome to Access Fort Wayne, a public access television station located inside the main library in Allen County, Indiana. The station has 3 studios, the largest of the 3 being Studio A. Tonight, 3 volunteers, 2 producers, and a staff member are working together to create a pre-taped television show inside the studio. The program is a religious talk show titled Come to the Knowledge. Most television viewers are unaware of all of the work that takes place behind the scenes. Tonight, you get to see an exclusive look at the crew busy behind the camera. When crew members arrive in the studio, the set is completely put away. All props, chairs, and tables are pushed against the wall or are behind the curtains. Tonight's show contains 2 people on set, so a table with 2 chairs is needed. While the set is being prepared, a volunteer camera operator, Nicole, unwinds the camera cords, removes the lens caps, and wheels the camera into place. She also moves the curtain so that the desired lighting effect can be accomplished. The director, Elizabeth, does the lighting. She adds light to the subjects on the set while also adding colored light to the curtains. She accomplishes this by placing blue gels in front of some of the lights. After she checks the shots from the control room, she returns to the studio to fine-tune a few things, adjusting the intensity of the lights with the lighting board. The producers take their places at the table and prepare for the shoot, setting up a laptop and preparing last-minute notes and thoughts before the show begins. 2 trees are then wheeled out behind the table and are carefully placed on set. While the director and camera operators are busy with tasks, the audio operator is also at work. Paul removes microphones and cords from the cabinet in the control room and takes them into the studio. The cords need to be plugged into the wall, connected to microphones, and then be strategically placed on the subjects. Back in the control room, Elizabeth retrieves the opening tape from the cabinet and loads the tape into the playback deck, or VTR. She also gets out a blank tape in order to record the show and loads the tape into the record deck. Paul checks the sound levels of the opening music and narration. Once the audio check for the opening is complete, Elizabeth sets the counter on the deck and rewinds the tape. Paul then speaks to the hosts through a headset and asks them to begin speaking for a mic check. While the mic check occurs, Elizabeth prepares titles and credits for the show, entering names into the Compix program on the computer. Tonight's show also involves taking a video feed from a computer. Paul retrieves the scan converter and other cords in order to connect the computer feed to the control room. Elizabeth hooks up the converter box while the producer plugs in the power cord to the back wall of the studio. An S-video cable is run to the back of the studio, and Paul and Elizabeth then feed it through a hole in the wall to the control room so that it can be attached to an input in the back of the playback deck. Nicole prepares the time cues and brings them closer to her camera. The director shuts off the overhead lights in the studio, and the crew members all take their positions. The camera operators set the focus on their cameras, while the director and audio operator return to the control room. The director instructs the camera operators how to frame up their shots, and the production is ready to begin. Elizabeth records in black for 30 seconds, and then begins the opening tape, showing color bars and then a countdown. Paul brings up the audio for the opening. After the opening, Paul brings up the microphones and Nicole cues the talent. During the production, the camera operators switch up their shots as directed, zooming, panning, tilting, and trucking. The director switches between camera shots and uses the Compix computer to add titles to the program. Nicole shows the time cues for the talent, and the show is wrapped up. Credits roll over a wide shot, and the program fades to black. Once the show is completed, the director fills out a request for playback contract. She writes down the title and length of the program, along with other information, and gives the contract to the producer to sign. She also labels the tape while the volunteer crew returns everything to its proper location in the studio and control room. So that's how a television program is created at Access Fort Wayne. It takes the hard work of talent, producers, volunteers, and staff to create a program for the public access channels. Once a program is completed, the contract and tape are given to the program director, and the show is then scheduled for playback on the channels. To find out more about Access Fort Wayne, call 260-421-1250.